Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing Killer in the Mist. And you can see here Sleuth looks to be saving a child, although the child is the one that's saving Sleuth here, pulling on his cloak or jacket. And you can see criminals, or presumably killers given the title, back in the distance, in the mist, I guess heading this way. So Sleuth, kiddo, save yourselves, get out of there quick. Now, the name is probably familiar for some of you that are regular viewers of the channel because Killer in the Mist, we had something very similarly named called Killer in the Dark by Flinty. So this is very much feels like a continuation because it is another Flinty puzzle about fog of war and killer cages. So we have Killer in the Mist by Flinty and the following set of rules that are going to be familiar to some of you. So first rule, normal Sudoku rules apply, so that means the digits 1 to 9 in every row, including this cell, every column, not that cell, and every 3 by 3 box. That's fairly standard. Next we have Fog of War. So most of the grid is covered in fog. As you solve, more of the grid will appear. So for example, if this is a 5, not only will it reveal this cell, it will reveal all of the adjacent cells including the diagonal ones, and hopefully reveals a few more clues for us to actually be able to solve this puzzle. Next, we have killer cages. Not surprisingly, given the title, we must have killer somewhere. So digits in cages must sum to the number in the top left corner, and digits cannot repeat within a cage. Now, we only have one cage here that's visible, which is this 12 cage. You can see this dashed line is highlighting or selecting these 3 cells, and you've got a 12 in the top left corner. So what this is saying is that these 3 cells must sum up to 12, and one example of doing that would be 3, 4, and 5. Add these up and they will be 12. So that's a total valid fill of this particular cage. Lastly, we've got something that is quite helpful for a fog of war puzzle. All cages are exactly 3 cells in size. So if you think about these 12 cages, they're heading off into the fog. We have no idea for how long. Does it mention that? Oh, digits cannot repeat within a cage. We do know that there are definitely 3 cells, but it's explicitly said here. So these 3 cells make up this 12 cage, these 3 cells make up this 12 cage, and these 3 cells make up this 12 cage. And then lastly, actually, excuse me, I was mistaken. Nothing stops a 12 cage from being 4 cells long, given the minimum is actually 10. So no, this is actually helpful information. And then lastly, we have the cages do not overlap / share cells. And I can't really sort of demonstrate this. I'm sure as we continue to solve this puzzle, it will be a little bit obvious why this is helpful. Well, if you're not put off by having killers hiding in the mist, chasing you as you've seen in that thumbnail, link will be in the description down below as usual for you to play along. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So I've been kind of staring at this box 2 for a while, whilst I've been explaining the rule sets. And I feel fairly certain I know how to actually break into this puzzle. So if you add the digits 1 through to 9, which is essentially based on normal Sudoku rules, what we have in here, they will add up to 45. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 all the way to 9, you get 45. We also know that these 12 cages continue into these 3 cells that I'm going to highlight in blue. So these cages, of which there are 4 of them, 4 times 12 is 48, which are essentially composed of box 2 plus these 3 cells. Do a little bit of arithmetic, so take away the 48, take the 45 away from the middle, and you're left with 3 in these 3 cells. So they all have to be 1 to be able to sum up to 3. And that's our break-in around 1.5 minutes. We can continue with this now. So the 10 cage has no 1s here. This can only be 2, 3, 5. This 10 cage also has no 1s because this cell cannot be a 1. So that's also 2, 3, 5. If you look down at box 7 now, we've got 2, 3, 5 eliminating all of these, 2, 3, 5 eliminating all of these. This can only be 2, 3, 5 in here. And then the 12 cages presumably is where we need to go next. So we'll have a think about that. And here is where that rule, I think, the cages do not overlap / share cells. Have a look at this cage. I'll highlight in blue, and have a look at this cage. I'll highlight in yellow. Where does the yellow cage get its third cell from? It's clearly not the blue one, because that would overlap or share. It's not this one at the top. So yellow has to continue down here. Blue actually has options. It can continue or go down. And I guess this cage can do the same. It can go left, right. You know, it's all over the place. Let's focus on yellow, which has no 1, mind you. Now, if it doesn't have a 2, that would be 3, 4, 5. Then no 3 5s in here. We've got 2s only in 2 boxes. That breaks. So there's definitely a 2 in here. There are no 2s there. There are no 1, 3, or 5s in here. That's 2, 4, 6. Just try the minimum. 2, 4, and 6 adds up to 12. It's fixed. Row 4 now, this is 7, 8, and 9. I'm a little bit blind, excuse me. 1, 1, no 1s, no 1. Clearly no 1 in here, other than the fact that if I add a 1 in there, it repeats in the cage. Leaves us with a 10 in this cell. There's a 1 in this box. In this cage, it can only be in here. Kind of confirming that this is indeed the yellow. Don't need the colors anymore. These 2 cells have to be the same, which also means this blue cell is not 2. Where does 2 go in this 10 cage? This is the 2. This 12 cage continues. This 10 cage continues as well. So what are the options for the 10 cage? It can go straight down, can turn right, or of course it can turn left. Now if it goes straight down, I think I'm going to say the obvious part first. One of these cells is 1, because I can't have 2, 3, 5. I need to have either a 1 or a 2 or both in a 10 cage for it to work. So 2, 3, 5 means I have to have a 1. And then if I can't use 2, 3, 5, I'm left with 1, 4, and 6, which add up to 11. So if I continue straight, that's 11. If I continue and turn right, that's also 11. Only way this works if the 10 cage turns left. Didn't mean to remove the colors. So there's a 1 in here, meaning that's a 9. The options are either 2 with a 7, 3 with a 6, 5 with a 4. Quite a few options, not very helpful. Actually, that's not true. Have a look at box 7 in a larger context. This 1 here eliminates 1s from all of this. There are no 1s here. 1 has to be in this column. Now, if I don't place the 1 in here and I place it in there, I've broken the puzzle because there are no 1s in box 7. So that's the 1. That's not a 1. Got a 16 cage, which I can probably play with a bit as well. So it's 1, 2, 3, 5. If I don't use any of them, it's 4, 6, 7. 6, 7, which is too many. That's 17. So the 16 cage, just like the 10 cage, must use one of these cells to stand a chance of being 16. Feels like this is as far as we're going to be able to take it at this point. We're kind of back to these 12 cages in box 5. What's interesting is none of these 12 cages, whether it's this one, which we know for sure continues down to here, or this one, which whether it continues or turns down, none of them have ones. So if they don't have ones, I think we are very limited on options. Options include 237, 246, and 345. And my inclination is we need to have one of each. Because, yeah, we have to have one of each. Because all of these cells, all of these 12 cages, I'm going to actually color them. Blue is a bad idea. If I remove all the other blue cells, green, yellow, they all share 2 cells. They only have a maximum of 1 cell that's outside the box. So I can't repeat any of these. If that's 237, even if I put the 2 down here and that's 37, I can't put 237 in there, because even if I put a 2 in here, this cell would be 37 and would conflict with the blue. So essentially, I need one of each. So we're done with 246. So one of these is 345. One of these is 237. And then the question is, which is which? I think it's kind of the question to answer. What I think it does say, though, if you look at the mix of digits that I have in here, is none of them contain 8 or 9. If they don't have ones, 2 and 8 would get to 10, and then I'd need a 2. Obviously repeating the 2 in the cage, and that would break. Obviously a 2 and a 9 would be 11, and I'd need the 1, and we've demonstrated none of them have ones. So given these are blue, these are green, this is the only place that can be 8 or 9. Therefore, this has to be green. This green cannot have a 2 anywhere on it, so this has to be the 345 cage. This has to be the 237 cage, and that's not 2. So I know the 6 has to be in here, that's not 6. The 5 has to be in there, that's not 5. The 7 has to be in there, that's not 7. I can delete all of these, I don't need them. And then one of these has a 2, either yellow or blue. One of these has a 4, either green or yellow. Bit of a shame, though. I'm not really sure where to go with this next. Why did I remove the 7 from here? Yeah, I had to have a 7 in here. So if I put a 2 there, that's 3, that's 7. So 2, 7, 4, 6, 3, 5. Oh, come on, Sleuth. 3, 4, 5, staring at this, that's the 7. That's not the 7. Sleuth. Seriously. That's 8 and 9 in this 22 cage, and this is the other cell. That's 17. That can only be a 5. That's the 5. That's 3, 4 pair. That's 8, 9. Got a 14 in here, which, I mean, we kind of knew. It's just nice to see the extent of it. There's a 5 up here. Not hugely helpful. What else do I know? "24 cage in 3 cells. I can see that this is definitely 7, 8, and 9. Whether it continues straight, actually it doesn't continue straight, because I can see the 20 cage turns. So this is 7, 8, and 9. 8 and 9 are starting at this cell. That's 7. That's 8, 9. These are not 7s. That is the 7. Nice reveals. That's not a 7, and therefore that's not a 2. Two, 4, 6. No, still unknown. This 20 cage. We know that the maximum I can make this is a 7. Sorry, this 5 is starting at here. This is a 3. That's 4. This has to be the 6, therefore. Neither of these are 3 now. Maybe time to think about the 16 cage. If that's a 5, I need 11 in here. 2, 9 not available. 3, 8 not available. 4, 7 is available. And 5, 6 is not. So 4, 7 is one option. If that's a 2, this has to be 14. And 6, 8 is not available. And 5, 9 is not available. So this is in fact 5, 2 with a 4, 7. This is now known. This is 8, 9, and 6. Except we've got an 8, 9 looking at it. That's the 6. This is not 6. That's the 7 to complete the row. Excuse me. I don't actually know. Sorry. That's 7, 4, 7. If that's 9, then I need 5 in here. 2, 3 is not available, so this will be 1, 4 in this order. If that's 8, I need 6. And 2, 4 is not available, and 1, 5 is not available. This is definitely a 9. This is definitely an 8. This is a 1. This is a 4. Have a think about sort of the 5. No, too early feels still. This 4 gives me the 7. The 4. I need 13 in here. It's not 6, 7. Could be 5, 8. Yeah, can be 5, 8 in this order. So I said not 6, 7, not 5, 8, and not 9, 4. And that's all the ways of doing 13. So it is 5, 8. Got 3 cells in here that add up to, hopefully, actually let me just tidy up, 7, 4, hopefully 18. This is 6, 9, and 3. 3, 6, 9. That is 18. Lovely. I need 3 and 6. Then I need 1, 2, and 7. In fact, I can do better. That's the 2. That's 1 and 7. 8 cage needs a 1. And it's either with 2, 5. This 5 tells us that would be the... I can't do 2, 5. Well, I can. That would be 1. That would be 2, 5. So that's one option. Another option would be 3, 4. And none of these can be 3. 3 and a 3, 4 pair. None of these can be 3. It is in fact a 1, 2, 5 setup. Finally, this 2 helps us disambiguate this about time. And therefore, none of these are 4s. Do we have a 2, 6 down here anywhere? Nope. 8, 9. We need something in here. 6. 3, 6. The 1 gives me the 7. The 1. 2 5s, 8 9s. None of which is disambiguated at this point. 7s can only be in here. What is that? 4. 1. 8 and 9. Incredibly, still hiding its mysteries. 8, 9. 2, 3, 5, 1. I need 4, 6, and an 8, 9. Don't know anything about that. That's not a 3. Right, I must be able to do this 12 cage or many of them by now. So I need to get to 11. 5, 6 still very viable. 7, 4 not available. 8, 3 not available. 9, 2 not available. So it is 5, 6. That's a 9. These are not 9s. This is now 8. That's 9. That's got to be a 3 to get to 12. That's 6. That's 3. That's 6. That's 2. That's 9. That's 8. I think that 9, 8 was available for a while because of this 8, which I solved ages ago. Never mind. Got a 9 in here, which means we need a 2 next to it. So there's a 9, 2 in that direction. And then a 4, 7. Because of this 7, it can't be there. That's 4, 7. That's 9, 2. 4, 7 is this way round. That's an 8. 9, 8. I said I needed a 4, 6, and 9. Not many are revealed actually. 9, or resolved I should say. 4. Got 2, 3, 5, 3, 5 pair. 3s, this is a 5, this is a 3, this is a 2. That's not a 2, this is 3, 5 again. 3, 5. Oh, yep, 5, 3. Super. Right, what do we have in here? We have another 8, 9 with a 6. Incredibly not resolved. That doesn't sound right. Okay. No, that can't be right. So we've got 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, and a 3. And the 3 can only be in here, giving us the 20 cage, which hopefully will resolve everything. 4 and 6. This has to be a 5, a 4, a 6, a 5, not 4. This 5 gives me the 2, the 5. This 20 now. Am I going to focus on the 20? Let's do an easier one. 8 and 9 pair here tells me that I should be able to figure out these two. We've got 2 and 4. This 4 tells me the order. 4 and 2. I have a remainder of 16, so that's 9 and 7. This 7 tells me the 7 is here, the 9, the 8, the 9, 8, the 9. I need 6 and 8. That's the 8, that's the 6, that's the 9. If I've not made any mistakes, that's the 6 and the solution to today's puzzle. Lovely puzzle, Flinty. Yeah, just phenomenal puzzle. It's definitely harder than the previous one, if I can call it a series, but it's definitely harder than that. You know, the break-in, if you've not done geometry before, this will be tough. If you're not familiar with killer cage sums, spotting these 2, 3, 5s is tough. Having the ones in here, and I guess the magic really was box 5 with these 12s. You know, recognizing that it's 3 unique ones and the 8, 9, and then the 5. I'll be honest, that took me a while. But I think if you're not familiar with killer cages and you don't recognize the fact that none of these can have ones, you'll be stuck there for ages. But, you know, once you get past that, the rest of it is pretty smooth sailing, I'd say. Well, thank you so much for the puzzle, Flinty. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's puzzle and today's video. And see you back for the next one. Bye for now.